I'll come when it's done.
Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the New Prague Area School District Board of Education. Meetings are recorded and can be viewed by accessing the school board page on the district website. Janelle, if you could note, we have all 7 members of our school board present, and we'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty for all.
Welcome back to the first meeting of 2026. Wow. I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now, this meeting has 2 parts to it, actually. The first part is the organization of the board, and then the second part, after we adjourn, will be a short work session that we'll have afterwards. So we'll begin with the first part, and that is the election of officers. And for the election of officers, we follow the rules of Roberts, and we have the nomination, and then I'll ask if there's any further nominations, and after that is done, if there are no further nominations, I'll ask for a motion to close the nominations and ask for a unanimous vote. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the first person up, or the first office up, is the role of school board chair. Is there a nomination for that position?
I nominate Dennis Havlicek.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Is there a second to that nomination?
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. At this time, I'd ask for the nominations to cease and ask for a unanimous vote for me as school board chairperson. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Next, we'll go on to the next office, and that is for the office of vice chair. Nomination for that.
I nominate Kim.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Time I'll ask that the nominations cease and that we cast a unanimous ballot for Kim as vice chair. A second?
I second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kim. Next, we go down to the office of, where am I? Next office is clerk. Are there any nominations for clerk of the school board?
I nominate Dan Call.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? If not, I'll now move that the nominations close and that we cast the unanimous ballot for Dan Call. Second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Dan. And the third is the treasurer's position. Is there a nomination for election of treasurer?
I nominate Karen.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve that nomination and close the nominations. Is there a second?
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We've got that taken care of. Next, we're going down to the agenda that asks for a resolution to determine the Indigenous Peoples Day is not considered a legal holiday and approval of meeting dates and times for the 2026 school, for the calendar year. Dan, you have that resolution?
Be it resolved that pursuant to MS 645.44 subdivision 5, the school board of the Independent School District number 721 has determined that Indigenous Peoples Day is not a school district holiday for the New Prague Area Schools Independent School District 721. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? We'll call the question. Karen?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes,
Carrie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Dan? Yes. Motion carries.
thank you. Next, we go down to the designation of official district depositories. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it was, is that a resolution also, Janelle? No, it's just approval of the meetings. Okay. I'll ask for a motion to approve the dates that were set aside for the school board meetings.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions or comments? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thank you, Kim. Next is the district depository list. And you have that list in front of you. And at this time, I'd like to ask Andy, are there ones that we use more often than others? Or I was asked a question, why is a list so extensive? And I'll give you my answer and see if it's right. It's because it's good to have backups. We use some, maybe a lot, and then it's also good to have backups just in case something is needed special or whatever.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we're a pretty large organization with a lot of money flowing in and a lot of money flowing out. If you would like, I can invite Mr. Fell to come forward to answer more detail on that. I don't think we were prepared to answer, but he may have a little bit more detail than I do. So the question being, do you mind, Mr. Fell? The question is why we have so many? Is that Mr. Chair?
Yes, that's correct. Mhm.
Putting Mr. Fell on the spot here, forgive me. But if you could give a little background, knowing that you've been here a year now, so you should know everything.
Well, I can tell you first and foremost that First Bank and Trust and PMA Securities are the two primary depositories that we use there. And the others, I think, would be there, like you had mentioned, as backup in the event that we needed to move funds into a different location.
Okay, thank you. You have a motion to approve the official depositories for 2026.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we go on to the resolution. Oh, we already did that one, sorry. Committee assignments? No, I'm
Legal,
sorry.
legal counsel.
5-4, designation of legal counsel. And there you have the list in front of you. And again, Andy, I'm going to speak that, again, we have a list of them that's fairly, long, but they all specialize in certain areas, and we can use any of them that we feel that are on the list that can take care of our needs at the time.
You can see at the bottom that we've budgeted about $35,000 in last year. We used around a little close to $32,000 in legal fees. It depends on the type of legal situation that we're dealing with. These are all have good reputations. They people that we've worked with in the past, and they all have different areas of expertise. So depending on the situation that we're dealing with, we will go to the firm who's got the best background and the best track record with those particular experiences. So I have not. Those are the updated fees? Is that the updated list of what we spent last year? The bottom? Yeah. So those are the updated kind of hourly rates. I don't know if we reconciled the books completely as to how much we spent on legal fees. That's something I can do for you. We did that in the past. But again, it's really based on the needs of the district whenever we need them. Thankfully, we haven't needed them a great deal in the past, but it's good to have good people on our side if we have an issue.
Thank you.
And you said that we have used all of these in the past?
At some point, we've
At
used
some
them.
point, okay, thank you.
Some have predated me, to be honest with you.
Correct, right.
But again, we're not charged a fee for having their name on the list if we're not using their services. It depends on the type of situation we're dealing with.
Last year, I think we used Dorsey for the bond stuff, correct?
I believe that was the case, yes.
We know which ones, and maybe you can add that into your reconciliations and which other ones we did use throughout the year?
I'm not so sure of what I mean in terms of the totals for each?
Or just like which, however you want to do it, but just which firms we
Highlighting
used.
which ones we use more
Yeah.
than others, for sure. We can do that when we reconcile that with you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you, Andy. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to establish the designation of our legal counsels.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next is the designation of official publication forum, and this is where we put our announcements as far as the official proceedings for our school district. And at one time, back in the days when newspapers were a lot more common, the list was a lot longer. But we just have the New Prague Times now and our website as being the two main areas of places where we can post our important legal information. So I'll entertain a motion to accept these.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we have the opportunity to set the school board compensation. And I'd like to address that by bringing up the fact that a couple of years ago, Dan, when we were having the issues as far as not having the passage of the referendum, that we actually took a pay cut. And I thought at the time that was a very nice gesture on Dan's part to bring that up, and we did do that. And I think that, keeping in what we said we were going to do with the referendum, that we would, put back things that we had, from our standpoint, taken away from ourselves, and that was a part of our pay for doing the school board work. So I would like to recommend that we reestablish that compensation at $3,500 per board member per year.
I think as part of the referendum, we said we'd maintain what we had, correct? Not replace things that were there.
We did that for other things, but not for compensation. We were the only group that took a cut in pay, so to speak, that I'm aware of.
For context, we did have some bargaining units. Our administrative bargaining unit took a pay freeze for one of the years through the through the reduction. I think that was just for 1 year. That was voluntary on their part.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I
That's
don't
right, there was a
know if
freeze.
there's been any others, but I would consider what you had done in essence, because you don't negotiate your contract. It's there, kind of like a 2-year freeze to date. Would that be
Mhm.
fair?
Mhm.
So I will leave the rest of it up to you, but that's just a little bit other detail.
And I also looked at comparables too, and by no means are we at the top of the list as far as compensation is concerned, as far as school board members is concerned. I think 3,500 puts us pretty much in the middle or maybe to the lower end of compensation, so I think it's a fair amount. Are there any comments or questions?
I don't feel the need to raise it.
Okay, Carrie feels that there is no need to raise it.
And that's about 41%, my calculation on that. That's a pretty substantial jump in the amount of compensation on the school
It
board
was,
side.
what was it before the
And so, if I remember correctly, we did 10%. So even if we,
I thought it was 20, but you think it was 10?
was it 25%? I can't remember what we did. That
I
was a long
wasn't
time
here
ago.
the whole time, but I do believe that you reduced your, don't quote me on this, but from what I remember, by 25%.
Any other comments or questions?
But I'd also be in favor of leaving it or a more modest increase. When you look at Belle Plaine, very similar school district to us, 1,800. Jordan's at 2,500. We're pretty close to, we're pretty close to where they're at. Prior Lake's really the only one that I would consider a close peer that's significantly more than ours. And so I think going up to 3,500 definitely puts us, on the higher end of our comparable. Even getting close to Northfield. And they're rich.
Any other comments or questions? At this time, I entertain a motion to set the compensation at $3,500. Do I have a motion? There is no motion. Then I'll open it up to...
I'd move that we leave the compensation as it is at $24.75.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, that'd be my motion.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second, sorry. Not paying attention.
Any comments or questions? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we go to the school board committee assignments. And as I looked at these assignments for this coming year, and I also asked for feedback from the board members, most people that I had contact with or contacted me said that they were, happy with their present assignment. And I also felt that since we restructured our committees last year, that it would be a good idea probably to give us a chance to maintain them as the same membership that we had. So I'll make a motion to keep the committee assignments the same as they were last year. For a second?
Second.
Any further questions? All in
One-
favor, say,
One of the committees, 8.6, the equity committee, didn't meet once over the last year, which would indicate to me that it's not a very active committee and, there's not any work to be done there, I guess we think. And so to me.
which number was that?
8.6, the equity committee.
Okay.
We've gone a year without any meetings. And so to me, whether or not that committee is necessary for us, it hasn't proven to have a mission or assignments from the board or things coming up from the teachers and students. So, I don't know that one serves a purpose.
I think it's a committee, this is my viewpoint of the equity committee. I think it's a committee that at first was organized to help our district deal with the equity concerns that we had at one time. And I think we did a good job of addressing those equity concerns and working on it, and we kept the committee. It was fresh and whatever. But I think instead of dismantling it, I think that we should probably keep it but upgrade it and work on it. And Andy and I had a discussion about this over the last couple of months, and I think we'll go ahead, Andy, if you'd like to comment about it.
I think if the board is willing, I think that what I would entertain is bringing some ideas to how to update the equity committee, whether it's equity committee or it's something else in terms of student and staff supports, or bring some options for the school board to consider going forward with regards to kind of the underpinning of why the equity committee was there and what we could do with the committee going forward, whether that is a committee, a district committee and an advisory council, but give this board some options to discuss going forward if the board is open to that.
I think that's a great idea. I think just dissolving it is probably not the best idea, but I think if we can rework it in some way and you can give us a bunch of options, I think that's great.
Okay.
The other committee that I have a question about is the District Advisory Committee. I'm thinking that I saw somewhere in the description of the committee that it indicated that there was room for 2 board members. Am I wrong?
That might be the case. I don't remember. I think that's really up to you all, how you want to organize. I think we said minimally 1 is maybe what was there, and if there was an opportunity for 2, if people expressed an interest in that. I'd have to go back and look, but at minimally 1. If someone was interested, I think that would be again for you all to decide and discuss and decide.
I was on it last year, and my survey said I didn't check the box for that one. So if you want to be on it, you can have it.
Okay, that's fine. So you'd like to take the committee assignment of,
The general practice says that we should have 2 on there, then I'll join 2.
okay, Kim and
Karen and Ann.
Aaron and for Ann, okay.
And on any committee, it's my understanding we can have up to 3, right? So there's no real limitations on number of school board members on committee. And so if any committee that has 2, if there's another person who wanted to serve on it, that would be a possibility. Is that a correct understanding?
I wanted to be on the policy committee.
Okay. It doesn't that one doesn't require a motion and an approval, so we'll just go with the designation that we've got right there. Next, we have Education, Identity, and Access Management Board Resolution.
I think, Mr. Chair, excuse me, I think that needs to be a second to that committee assignments.
You already had a motion and a second.
And I do think then you need to vote.
I did have a motion and second.
Yep, you
So-
moved, you made the motion. And
Okay. All in favor, signify by
If-
saying.
if-
So can I do an amended motion?
Sure, sure.
That we do the committee assignments with the changes discussed?
Okay,
Including, if I may, that I will bring options in future meetings to discuss the newer version 2.0 of whatever the equity committee could look like, that you will be able to discuss and then decide before we go forward. Is that
Okay.
fair?
okay. Any other comments
So
or
I just second the
additions?
amended motion. I second the amended motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded for the amendment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, item passes. Okay, next we have Dan doing the Identity and Access Management Board Resolution.
The Minnesota Department of Education, MDE, Professional Educator Licensing Standards Boards, PLSB, and Office of Higher Education, OHE, require annual designation of the Identified Official with Authority, IOWA, for each local education agency, LEA, that uses the Education Identity and Access Management, EDIAM, system. The Iowa is responsible for authorizing, reviewing, and recertifying user access for their LEA in accordance with the state Minnesota Enterprise Identity and Access Management Standard, which states that all users' access rights to Minnesota state systems must be reviewed and recertified at least annually. The Iowa will authorize user access to state of Minnesota education secure systems in accordance with the user's assigned job duties and will revoke that user's access when it's no longer needed on the platform duties. And we are nominating or designating Andrew Volmuth in that capacity. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Your second.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, call the question. Karen,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Dan, yes. Motion carries.
Next, we have designating a board member as the Minnesota State High School League representative. Who is that currently?
That's me.
Karen.
Karen,
I'd love to stay on that if that's okay.
okay? I'll call for a motion on that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor of having Karen be the league representative, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Next, we have a resolution designating the clerk and treasurer duties to district office staff.
Whereas Minnesota Statute 123B.14 Subdivision 1 empowers the school board to combine the duties of the Office of the Clerk and Treasurer of the school board in one person in the Office of Business Affairs of the school district. Whereas the school district has decided to combine the duties of the clerk and the treasurer in one person in the Office of Business Affairs. Therefore, be it resolved that the Director of Business Services of the school district is designated by the School Board of Independent School District Number 721 to perform the duties of the clerk and treasurer of the district. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Is there a second? Oops.
Gotcha. Second.
Any discussion? Call the question. Karen?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Dan? Motion carries.
Next, we have authorizing a specified district office staff to make electronic or paper transaction from any institution for the district through January 2027. Do I have a motion to approve the authorization?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded by Ann. Are there any questions or comments? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. And the last one is 512, authorizing the superintendent or director of business services to execute contracts and purchase orders for goods and services contained within the board-approved budget. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. And next, we have adjournment.
I move to
So
adjourn.
moved.
It's
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. Thank you.
Are we relocating or are we staying?
Yeah, we're gonna head back to our normal spot.
Okay?